Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Carpool. It's me, your host, Conor Carr. I join you on this delightful Wednesday afternoon, hoping to look ahead to the upcoming derby this weekend against Rangers. How y'all feeling? I'm feeling good. We're all looking forward to the weekend. I sure am. But before we get stuck into all the juicy details and all the goss, please make sure you can go up in the corner there and go and look at piesports.com. You look along the ticker tape right there, you'll see the details below you. Go into piesports.com, head over to the website, use the code BUS1888, get 12.5% off of all your tasty pastry treats on your order. Put the code in the basket at the checkout. Don't forget, you can follow the Bhoycie Bus on Twitter for updates, and also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Do it far and wide, share it with all your friends and family. Also, please remember you can become a Bhoycie Bus member for the low fee of $1.99 a month. If you do that, you get a couple of wee extra goodies. You can put extra wee stickers in the chat. Your comments get highlighted. Your name gets highlighted, and you get a wee shout out every now and again from the bus and all your favourite contributors. So if that's something that you're into, be sure to do that on the YouTube page down below. So yeah, guys. Looking ahead, I think we need to, get into all the nitty gritty, juicy details. This is going to be a kind of a shorter one this week. But I think it's, going to be a very, very interesting few days on the lead up to the derby and the day of said derby. I think we're all kind of looking forward to see what all Brendan has in store for wee Barry. I think we kind of need to start off looking at the kind of space that each team is going to be coming into this game in. Celtic, I think, have an advantage and a luxury over Rangers that they don't have, as we have that extra week to prepare going into this game at the derby. Obviously, they're playing Fenerbahce in the Europa League, played them last week, got a very surprising result. Literally no one, including Ali McCoy, because I actually met him the other day, thought they would get that. So yeah, and they're going into that game, at Ibrox, and probably looking forward to trying to, seal their win and get to the further stages of the Europa League. And Celtic, on the other hand, have the entire week to rejig, refocus, you know, tactically just put all their eggs in the Derby basket, this Sunday, as opposed to the Rangers, who will have one eye or possibly both eyes on that game on Thursday, because they know for a fact that's arguably for them, it's probably the biggest game of the two now. Barry Ferguson, the Rangers fans, will never ever admit that. But their entire season rests on what happens tomorrow night on Thursday. Whether they get through or whether they don't, their season ends or continues one way or the other, and we have no real bearing on it, really. Now, I know we want to, and I will say that we will be the proverbial nail in the coffin for their season, if we were to put them to the sword on Sunday, which I know we can do. We all know we can do that. But their entire season is hinging on them going through tomorrow night. And they're in a good position to do it. They're 3-1 up on aggregate, and it's at Ibrox, so they're more than likely going into the game feeling confident. But we, have the unique space ends where we have more time to recover, we have more time to focus, more time to have players and management and backroom staff just kind of all be in the same kind of headspace. It's not like looking at one game and looking at another game, one in Europe, one domestically, as opposed to what we were doing earlier on in the season. It's one game a week now to the end of the season, which I think is going to help us tremendously. It's going to help our recovery rates. It's going to help the team. It's going to help players. It's going to help mental states. It's going to be, I think, a big, big boost for us going into the game on Sunday. Even Arne Engels, he was speaking in the Glasgow Times. He thinks as well. He was saying that he hopes to show the fans and the opponents, being Rangers, the energy that they hope to bring into this derby, with obviously having that extra time off. Saying it's nice that they can actually He said in the article, relax a bit. I don't think he means like he's sitting, sipping a pina colada on, a wee sun lounger in his private pool in his back garden or whatever. I don't think that's what he's doing. But I think, just taking, a little bit of that, a tiny wee bit of the intensity just off of the, the congested fixture schedule, which they were normally used to, with it being 2 games a week. Even, then when we were out of Europe, we were still having, 2 games a week, domestically as well. So I think it is going to be a bit of a nice change for them, and it will help us in turn in this game Sunday. I think it's going to be such a huge boost, such a huge way to help with the momentum and the way that the game will go. Us having that extra bit of recovery, because bear in mind they're only going to have a couple of days to recover and put their focus onto us. Because let's be honest, like they are just focusing on the game on Thursday. Like it would be the biggest shock in the world if they were to just capitulate on Thursday and then put all their eggs in the basket under the game on Sunday, because it makes no difference to their season. They're out of every domestic competition. The league's done. League is done. We're 16 points clear. League's done. It is finito. Poof, done, dusted, away. We are pretty much champions at this point. It's only a matter of time. We've already won the League Cup and we've got St Johnstone in the semi, so we're more than likely going to reach the final. And we've basically got one hand on the treble already. I think. I mean, I'm not trying to be overconfident saying that. I think I'm just saying what we're all thinking. It would probably be a very big shock if we went to finish this season off the back of winning another treble and having won, to add to another treble notch on Brendan's Gucci belt, as it were. But yeah, I think it's it's quite interesting. I think we'll go into this game, and there's a whole new dimension now being added to the derby. Well, I say new, it's an old kind of dimension, because it's having away fans back in the ground. Celtic and Rangers have now came to an agreement allowing 4% of the supporters from each club will be allowed to attend the games in each other's opposing stadium. So I think I don't know the actual. Sorry guys, I was up late last night. I was working late, but I don't know the actual figures what it'll be. I think it's maybe like, I think they're maybe getting something like 8,000, and I think Celtic are maybe going to get about, no, it's not 8,000. So I think they're maybe going to like getting a 4,000. I think Celtic maybe get 3,000 in each respective stadium. I think just because obviously Celtic Park has a higher capacity, therefore Rangers will be allowed more fans into the stadium to, just cheer on their team, or sorry, more than likely boo their team. But we'll get on to that at the weekend. But yeah, I think we need to have a look at this. I think Celtic, and Celtic deserve massive credit for being the bigger club, being the bigger man, as it were, and fixing this away fan allocation issue, because Rangers started this, and we're sick of, it's the Celtic get tarred with the same brush that Rangers do by people who don't know the ins and outs of what happened. That was it was a Rangers issue that they stopped the away fan allocation. Rangers were sick of Celtic turning up to Ibrox, putting 4 or 5 past them, and partying, like it's 1967. They were sick of us turning up and laughing in their faces and putting them to the sword and embarrassing them again and again and again, and putting them, uh, like out of sight in terms of league titles and stuff like that. So they just cut the allocation completely. They just cut it. They were like, no. They reduced it, sorry, to I think 300, and then it just got cut totally. And if anyone goes, oh, it was a fan thing. It was to let more people in who wanted season tickets. Blah blah blah. Ex-Rangers player Josh Windass was on a podcast and said so himself. That is what happened. Rangers were raging at the fact that Celtic kept turning up and beating them, and our fans were inside Ibrox, getting it loudy and celebrating. Their fragile little tiny egos can't take it. They can't take the fact that we're better than them. They can't take the fact that we've always been better than them, and that our fans are better than them, and that our supporters are better than them, and better people, and better culture, and all the rest of it. They can't handle it. They can't handle the fact that, despite the fact that they think they come from a Protestant nation, or the rest of it, that they are fucking hated by the denizens of their own country. They can't. They can't wrap their warped minds round about the fact that no one likes them. They go with the no one likes us, we don't care. But they like to fucking bitch and moan about it and cut allocations and cry and stuff like that every other week about people being against them and blah 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 and all that shit. And you know what? It's beautiful because it's now keeping the biggest derby in the world alive. You know, kind of regaining a wee bit of that old glory with the fact that their fans are going to be in the stadium on Sunday to witness their team get fucking beat again. Uh, and they're going to have to just sit there absolutely fizzing at the fact that we've just pumped them again, and that, you know, we'll be sitting celebrating another league title, basically, you know, right in front of them, right in front of them. And they can't do a goddamn thing about it. They have to sit there and wait an hour sitting in their stadium after we've just done them, celebrating, and they then have to leave and sit and stew on it. You know, God help the housewives of Rangers fans on Sunday after we beat them. You know, there's a bit of a dark joke, but nah, I don't really care. But it's, you know, the fact that we've kind of put a cork in this and kind of just fix the issue, I think says a lot. You know, we have no guarantee of fan safety at Ibrox. Like, we have no guarantee of player safety, of staff safety. We've seen it multiple times. Fans attacked multiple times. Players attacked. Joe Hart getting glass flung at him. Matt O'Reilly having a bottle flung at him. Medical staff for Celtic, you know, got his head split open by a bottle as well. You know, we have no guarantees of this, and yet we are still willing to say, right, we'll put our foot in this, we'll stop it. We're willing to put ourselves and our supporters at risk in a way by going to your absolute fucking midden, and, you know, to help the game, help the derby, help the way it looks on paper, sell the product, because Celtic wanted what's best for Scottish football, and Rangers didn't. Rangers would have been happy to never have away allocations back again. Let's be honest, because it does help having away fans at, you know, games. It helps with the other team. It helps them get into the game. It helps them be motivated. Helps them get that wee bit extra of an edge of motivation. Try to get the win. Try to go for it. Rangers more than likely will perform a hell of a lot better against Celtic when it's just 50,000 angry bears inside that cauldron of Ibrox, screaming and hollering and howling, and then, you know, singing the sash and whatever the fuck else they want to do, than they will if there was a contingent of Celtic fans there and Celtic happened to be winning and Celtic fans happened to be singing and the rest of Ibrox is quiet. They would rather it was, you know, no away fan allocations for the rest of the time, because they'll more than likely potentially win at least one of the games at Ibrox every season, just with the nature of how the support, you know, works and the way support worked inside the stadiums. That's why they were probably more than likely happy for it to keep going the way it's going. But fair play to them, came to the agreement. They'll now squash that beef, it's done, and we now move on to the fact that, you know, we're going to have Rangers fans in Celtic Park for the first time in years, and there's going to be Celtic fans going to Ibrox for the first time in years. It's going to be a relatively larger contingent than what we've had before. So I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for the derby. It's good for the spectacle, and I just hope the fact that it's going to help with the atmosphere as well, and a bit of the back and forth, a bit of the animosity and stuff like that. Because I feel like the derbies have kind of missed that a wee bit. They've kind of become a wee bit like clean and you know, safe, almost a wee safe, and, you know, quotation marks, but, you know, sterilised, kind of, because there's been none of that back and forth. Besides when we go to, you know, games at Hampden against each other, when it is a 50-50 split, and you see it then. It makes for a great atmosphere. But yeah, moving on, I think that, you know, speaking of, you know, playing and the way we really need to come out the traps flying. I know that Brendan likes the way that he plays. He likes to, the methodical, the passing at the back, the bring the in players forward and then cut them open by going forward. And we can't be slow. We cannot be slow. We can't do that. It's not going to work. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to work. If we try and play, the 1-2 at the back, passing to the left back to the defender, back to the goalie, for the goalie to the right back, to the midfielder, back for the midfielder, back to the right back, back to the goalie, to the defender, it's going to not work. We need to put them to the sword in the first 20 minutes of that game. We need to give them absolute hell for that entirety, that first 45 minutes, non-stop, and then the second half, depending on what the score is. We need to put them to bed in the first half of that game. It's unparamount. It's paramount to the success that Celtic absolutely destroy them as early as they can on Sunday. Because Rangers, as we like to know, they come out the traps flying. First whistle goes, and then second half whistle goes. For the first 20 minutes, Rangers will fucking go at it. They will proper go at it, and we need to match them with that. We can't just sit back and just play our game, We need to kind of match it. Now, I'm not saying we go in for like crazy tackles and the blood and thunder staunchness that they're all going to fucking do. They're just going to think they're going to, their formula to winning, their formula to success. That ain't it. That's not what I'm saying. But we need to match the aggressiveness in the play and the aggressiveness going forward and hitting the press and stuff like that as well. Because let's be honest, their team ain't fucking great. I know they've got that win against Fenerbahce, right? But I mean, for God's sake, half that Fenerbahce team are using fucking Zimmer frames to get off the pitch. They're that old. They are a has-been team, and let's be honest, a has-been manager who's done now in terms of their success and what they can do in the game, and that result for Rangers papered over the cracks massively. Let's not forget, it's still the same team that lost to St Mirren, lost to Motherwell, drew with Hibs, struggled away at Kilmarnock, despite and then got it back, fair enough. It's still the same team. They are fucking garbage. They are garbage. There is not name one single player of theirs that gets in the Celtic team. Not one. Goalie doesn't. The defence sure as hell doesn't. I mean, god damn it. Robin Proper, Jefte, John Suter, you're having a laugh. Tavernier, nut. Midfielders, Diamande, he's a show pony. He likes to flatter to deceive. He's not actually that as good as what people say he is. He gets away with murder every single game. He should have had about 3 red cards already playing against Celtic, but he's not had a single one. We'll see if he gets his, finally gets one on Sunday. But I doubt it because the referee will do everything they can not to send their players off or book their players. Look, the star man up top, Agamani. He's done fuck all in weeks. He has done nout in weeks. He just does a couple of nutmegs and a couple of wee flicks here and there. That's it. That's all he does. Their players are garbage. It is a garbage team with a garbage manager. It's a guy who couldn't win at Alloa. It's a guy who barely just got Kelly Hearts promoted, despite the fact that they were the only full-time team in that entire fucking league. They were playing against electricians and plumbers and all the likes of that. He's not a good manager. Terrible at Blackpool as well. It's not complicated, right? Last time he beat a Barry Ferguson team was when he was at Alloa, and he put all the players, in the midfield, and they weren't marking Callum McGregor. Allowed Callum McGregor a free run of that pitch. Didn't put anybody on him, and he absolutely tore up that day. Now we'll see if the same thing happens on Sunday. But if he does the same thing, I feel like, especially in the derbies, I feel like if you kill off Callum McGregor, you kind of kill off Celtic. Because in the derbies especially, he is that kind of driving force which gets us going. But if they don't nullify him at all, we're going to run absolute riot. We're going to run absolutely fucking riot and put the absolute manky bastards to death and kill their season, kill their hopes of anything this season. Let's be honest, even if they do get through against Fenerbahce, which they probably will, they're 3-1 up in aggregate, they're not going to progress any further, or even if they do, they're not going to win anything. It would be the world's biggest upset if they managed to win that Europa League with what they've got and the manager they've got. So we need to take it upon ourselves to do Scottish football a favour and pump them again on Sunday. So we need to start with the right team. So that means we start with Daisameda up top, Jota and Kuhn up the top. I feel like that's the only kind of, that's the kind of set area in the back. The defence is set as well. There's maybe some questions about the midfield, maybe dropping Hatate because he's not been in great form. But McCowan starting a game like this, I know he's a Celtic boy who's fan and he would run through brick walls for Celtic, especially in a derby. But as he got it in him to start a game of this magnitude for the get-go and introduce, because I'm not going to lie, the last couple of times he's came on, he's been a wee bit iffy. Just a wee bit. I don't think he's been as bad as what Hatate has been. I'll be honest. But I think it's maybe too much for him too soon. Bearing in mind that it is his first season at Celtic, he's only been here, 8 months? Something like that? 9 months? So it's still very early doors for him to, be starting derbies and stuff like that. And we'll see what happens. But Hatate, I know he gets a lot of shit, and I know he's been very, very poor, and he's not set the heather this season. He's not been his usual best, but I don't know. There's just something about him. I think in these games he can pull off those brilliant, intricate, amazing passes that defy belief. And I don't know. There's something about him in these games, and I don't know what it is, even though he hasn't necessarily performed great, that I just feel like there's something going to happen this Sunday that he is going to just boom, I'm back. I don't know what it is. It's probably blind belief. It's probably blind faith that he is going to announce himself and be very, very good this Sunday. But I feel that he's possibly going to be one of the key players in that midfield. Him, McGregor, and Engels as well. I think they three, right? If they perform to their maximum, it's the same thing in derby. You win the midfield, you win the game. They perform to their absolute optimum abilities, we'll scoosh it. We'll absolutely scoosh it easy. Guys at Maida, form his life. Wouldn't be surprised if he put, a few past, Butland. That's the thing also. But I mean, the thing is, Tavernier's going to be playing it right back. Do you then put Ida up front so that Maeda can nullify Tavernier, who's one of their bigger threats? He's done it before. Or do you put Maeda up top because he's in the better form? Ida, despite the fact he scored last game, hasn't been in the best form. It's a conundrum. It's a conundrum that the manager himself has going to have to work out. And, me, you, or everybody else will have full faith in Brendan Rodgers and the management team that he is going to be able to do that. I think that's something that, we can all agree in saying that he is, tactically, he's one of the best in Europe, I think, and generally, I think that, hand on heart, I think he's one of the best managers working, in the UK and in Europe now, just with how well he's got us playing. And his tactics have been so spot on. So, moving on. Final bit of business. Score prediction. What are you all thinking? Let me know down in the comments what your score prediction is, how you think the game will go, who you would start, what you think it's going to be like, how many will put past them, how many pints of tears are going to be drank on Sunday, stuff like that. But my score prediction, I am going to go with 4-1. I'm going to go with Dyson made a double. I'm going to go with an Arne Engels penalty. And you're like, whoa, a penalty against Rangers? You must be mad. I'm being honest. Arne Engels penalty. And an absolute screamer from Jota to put the icing on the proverbial cake, as it were, and for us to have a beautiful Sunday once again. But guys, been a wee shorter episode this week, but that's me done the carpool. I hope you've all enjoyed. If you can't tell, by the way, this was a second recording. I was in the middle of my flow recording this before, and someone rudely walked in and interrupted me, so I then had to restart. So if I have been a bit jiggery-pokery all over the place, I do apologise, but I was interrupted mid-flow. But I hope you've liked this episode today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget down below, be a subscriber, share the bus far and wide, like, comment, follow us on Twitter, use code BUS1888 for piesports.com up in the corner, become a Bus member as well if you would like to do so. But guys, that's my business done for today. I'll see you all next week at some point, and hopefully it's off the back of another famous Derby delightful victory. See you later, guys.